Wow. That's like the first word and the only word pretty much that comes to mind whenever I'm thinking about this trade deadline. Oh my gosh. So much went on. This is the biggest deadline, I would believe so, since the Iginla trade went down. It didn't work out for the Penguins, but it was still a massive trade and an absolute blockbuster, and this deadline has most definitely, I would say personally at least, topped that one. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins trades, and I believe that some of it had possibly stemmed from the fact that the acquisitions of the Carolina Hurricanes were the likes of Vincent Trocheck, eventually Sami Vatanen, and even Brady Shea. First off, Vincent Trocheck, that acquisition really strengthened the Hurricanes center depth. They have a ton in their center line now. They have a 1-2-3 that's very, very solid, and it's going to be a scary one for the rest of the league, let alone the Metropolitan Division. And as a Penguin fan, I'm a little bit nervous, but we went out and we made some trades that I think will be the best for our team and possibly for the future. It's yet to be decided. This offseason is going to be an interesting one at that. So, the first trade I will talk about, the way I'm going to split these trades up is I will have an opinion as an NHL fan, an opinion as a Penguin fan, and an opinion as the opposing team who sent away the player. So first off, an NHL trade went down, obviously. They're all NHL trades. Patrick Marleau is now a Pittsburgh Penguin for a conditional 2021 third-round pick that can become a second-round pick if the Penguins win the Cup this season. Thoughts on that? From an NHL, just a hockey fan standpoint, it seems like a legitimate trade. You're giving Patrick Marleau, who has never won a cup, a chance at a Stanley Cup. Bring him into the Penguins. They've won 3 since 2009, which is the most since then. Do they have another shot at winning another cup this year? Yes, they do. Their team is very deep. Crosby's on top of his game. Malkin looks absolutely fantastic at this point in time. I believe he's 7th in points per game. So when you have your two superstars performing at the level that they are, you're looking at a pretty good outcome. So, an NHL, just a hockey fan, seems like a reasonable trade. As a Penguin fan, I like it. I do like it. I know that we're giving up picks and we don't have much, but realistically, the goal is to win the Cup right now. And if Patrick Marleau can help us win the Cup, yes, he's 40, but we only need him for the year, and we're giving up a conditional third-round pick for next year. It just seems like I don't want to say win-win, because there is the opportunity and obviously the chance that we do not win the Stanley Cup, as it is with every team that makes a deadline acquisition. But this definitely strengthens our hopes at winning that Stanley Cup. So, I will now talk about it as a San Jose Sharks fan. I'd be upset, but I would understand. The goal is to get Marleau a cup. No, unfortunately, he's not going to get that with San Jose. Not this year. They're out of the playoffs. They're not going to make it. Simple as that. They were selling, and they wanted to bring him to a team that could win a cup in which he would also waive his no-trade clause. So, Penguins were a great option for that. He would fit their system. The weather obviously wouldn't be as nice, but you have to accept getting a third-round pick for next year for him, because he probably is going to retire, especially if he wins the Cup after this year. He's going to retire. There's almost no doubt in that. I'd be very shocked if he comes around for a 23rd season, I would believe. But truthfully, on both ends, I'd be okay with it. I'd be a little upset as a San Jose fan just because, you know, he's gone. He's been there nearly his whole career. He's either been there or Toronto, and I believe those are the only two teams he's played for, other than now, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Should be a good fit there. Might play with Crosby or Malkin here and there. Should be fun. Okay, gonna move on to the next trade now. which of course is the Penguins trading away, a bit surprisingly, Dominic Cahoon for bringing back Conor Sheary and Evan Rodriguez. As a Penguin fan, I feel like some people aren't really liking it, but I'll get to that after I talk about my hockey fan aspect of it. So as a hockey fan, I think it's a fair trade, but it's a weird one for sure, because I don't think Cahoon is better than both of these two players. It's odd. It didn't really seem like it was supposed to happen, but it adds depth for the Penguins, and I guess a bit more firepower up top in Cahoon. He's younger. They should have the money in Buffalo to be able to re-sign him. So I would think that the Penguins, in theory, win that trade, but then again, Buffalo, they got rid of a guy that already didn't want to play, and I guess that in that sense, then Cahoon is an upgrade over Sheary. So there's that. As a Penguin fan, I do like the trade. It adds some depth. No, I didn't want to get rid of Cahoon, but if you're going to get two roster players, it's very unlikely that you don't have to give up at least one. You saw what Vincent Trocheck got. He got two roster players and two prospects. Those roster players, I don't think, were as good as the ones Buffalo gave us for Cahoon. That's one way to look at it. We just didn't get the prospects on top of that. We did get Conor Sheary, who's a proven player on Sidney Crosby's wing. Something that not many players have been able to accomplish. Yes, he tailed off towards the end of playing in Pittsburgh, and thus we eventually moved on from him, only due to cap reasons. We wanted to keep him around. We have to keep that in mind. The other player that we acquired is Evan Rodriguez, both of which are going to be a UFA at the end of the season. I believe Rodriguez is. He could be RFA, but I know that they're both free agents at the end of this season, regardless of UFA or RFA. Rodriguez is fast. So is Sheary, actually, and I guess so is Cahoon. So it's a very fast-paced trade, you could say. But Rodriguez can really wheel, and he's got a pretty good shot too. He's got a nice snapshot, slap shot, one-timer, which the Penguins can absolutely use. They need some more shooters, I would like to say, in their bottom six, and he absolutely will bring to that. As well will Conor Sheary. Conor Sheary, we know, can score some goals. He scored, I believe, at least close to 20, if not 20, with the Penguins, given he was on Crosby's wing. But he scored 14 with Buffalo. Not terrible for a bottom six guy, even if he plays up in the top six, which is unlikely, but possible he gets some minutes with the addition of Jason Zucker earlier on in the season in early February. But I would say that the future, and at least the remainder of this season for sure, looks bright for the Penguins. And then looking at it as a Buffalo fan, sure, why not? I like the trade. Evan Rodriguez wasn't playing. He wanted out of here. And Conor Sheary, he's a decent player, kind of streaky. Cahoon at this point in time is injured. Will eventually come back from his injury. Although, he was injured twice in like a week or two. Well, he was injured, had a concussion, was out for a month, but that was over the All-Star, so it was really only missed a week or two's worth of games. I think it was 8 games. Came back, played a game, and then played part of another and got hurt again. So possibly there could be some injury-prone issues now with Dominic Cahoon, which would not be a good sign for Buffalo within this trade. But overall, if he comes back healthy, can play fine, then yeah, I would guess that Buffalo wins that trade then for themselves. For Pittsburgh, they added depth. That's exactly what they wanted to do. Works both ways. I think both trades, though, overall, between Marleau and the Sheary and Evan Rodriguez trade, it just made sense. It made sense for both parties to do exactly what they wanted to do. And looking into the future of the Penguins this season, it looks bright. There's definitely an opportunity for them to win the Cup. They got deeper in forwards for sure. They lost 1 but gained 3, so that's exciting. Only lost 1 pick in the making aside from the Zucker deal. And it'll be a very interesting offseason. I've been putting a lot of thought recently into exactly what we're going to do. I don't think that there's a way we keep Schultz. I don't really know what we're going to do with any of these new players that we just acquired. Sheary could get re-signed at a cheaper value, maybe Rodriguez as well. We'll have to see. That's to be determined. Like I said, Schultz is likely going to be gone, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Penguins trade Matt Murray's RFA rights. We'll have to see. Maybe Murray carries them to a Stanley Cup and they say, you know what, 3 cups and he's only 25 years old, we're definitely keeping this guy. If not, maybe Jarry splits a little bit, plays 2 series, and Murray's plays 2 series, and they say, you know what, I think Jarry can hang around at $4 million cheaper than Matt Murray, and they say, sorry Murray, you're gone. You never know. I like both goalies. We're in a very good situation right now, especially as a Penguin fan. I'm very happy with this team. I think we've made some good trades, and we've got this team better than it was just this morning. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a good day. I'm out. I'll be back again soon.